Welcome back, everyone, to another Hearts of Iron 4 series, and this time we will be looking at the People's Republic of China, as it is unfortunately still called, despite the fact that it's not supposed to be called that, with the Road to 56 mod that we have already looked at earlier on. And I will be playing on veteran difficulty, just starting like this, just to show you that it is indeed on that veteran difficulty. I will strengthen Japan by, let's say, 3 pips. Would that strengthen me too? Yeah, okay, so I will not do it. I'll strengthen Japan by 3 pips, which will also strengthen Ninggukuo. Thankfully not Manchukuo, because they added Manchukuo in the last expansion, and yeah, Manchukuo is really good, actually. It's really tough to beat them. I will not go on Iron Man mode, just if something crashes. It's mostly just because of that. I promise I will not save scum, hehe. So let's look over our starting situation, which is quite a bit different from the standard game. The People's Republic starts with the terrible modifier of the Devastation of the Long March, which decreases our recruitable population and recruitable population factor, reinforcement rate, division attack, division defense, etc., and it will be removed only in 27th of October 1936, which is interesting. Very interesting. And also a lot of planning speed, national unity, training time, etc. Defeatism decreases national unity and recovery rate. Underestimating Japan, which is kind of contradicting. Well, I mean, defeatism, if Japan comes to lose, and then Japan is no problem, obviously. But what really matters is the fact that it just decreases with population factor, maximum planning, and planning speed. Obviously not very good. And then the lack of skilled personnel. This is really bad because it decreases our research time by quite a lot. And it also is going to stack, I believe, with our veteran difficulty. So it's going to be very hard for us to actually research things for a long time. Let's actually decrease the volume because it's very loud. Okay. However, because of our new national focus tree, we will be able to fix these problems. For example, we can boost the morale, etc. Now, one real thing that I want to take out is the lack of skilled personnel, but I'm not sure how that is done. Oh well, we will see later. Now, we do have new laws as well that are specific to us. Only we can get these. We have propaganda recruits, which increases obviously our recruitment population by 7%, which is quite nice, but decreases some things such as factory output, construction speed, etc., which obviously means that we are not going to be as able to produce things. Now, it is not quite as problematic, let's just say, as the modifier that you get in the standard game, which would be, I believe, service by requirement. Yep, which decreases your production by 10% and construction speed by 10%. So double that of this actual law, but it only gives us 7% recruitable pop, which, with all the negative modifiers that we have, for example, the Devastation of the Long March, is actually quite hurting us. Now, we also have the economy law, guerrilla warfare, which kind of doesn't really do a lot for our economy, obviously. As you can see, it increases our daily political power cost by quite a lot, which is quite harsh, especially because, again, it stacks with the veteran difficulty modifier. And then we also get less factories in a state by 25%, so that is very harsh for us. Now, one thing that I didn't mention in my mod video is the national laws. We'll talk about those once we get some political power, which will not be very soon, I might add. So, let's start right off. Now, one thing that we could do over here is recovering from the Long March, and then going for the war goals against some of these warlord states, such as Xibei and Shanxi. We could also go for lowering defeatism and rooting out defeatism, debunking underestimation, these sorts of things. The national focus tree is very in-depth, as you can see. And right now, we don't really... Okay. So for now, we will go for recovering from the Long March. That will help us in the long run a little bit better than some of the other ones. As you can see, they've also added quite a lot of generals. For example, Juda, Lin Biao, Chen Yi, etc., etc. For now, we'll just stick with Mao. We still have quite a lot of weak divisions. What are they in terms of... Yes, in terms of actual components, they're pretty weak. Now, we do still have the two types of divisions, one which is weak and the other which is weak. So we will need to restructure our army soon enough. For now, let's form a front line with the Chinese government and try to hold their... Ooh, we also start with only one research slot. I wonder how we will get more of those. I really don't see any over here. No research slots yet. Yeah, over here. We will need to found our nation, which will take quite a long time to get to. Now, this is going to be very, very bad for us. Let's start by researching the Type 24, which will give us the ability to produce some more advanced weapons instead of just the basic infantry equipment. And then we will get civilian factories. We can't actually build more in Shanxi, which was actually nerfed from the standard game. Instead of having 6 factories, we only have 3. So I guess we will just build some land forts, because that's the only thing that we can do. We'll start working on the defensive lines. And we have no divisions in basic training. Of course, this is nice because we have no equipment, so we can't exactly train anyone. So let's start just the timer. Let's see if there's any events that pop up. I haven't played with Communist China, so I don't know if there's any events. And right now, one big problem is the fact that our troops are quite low on the strength. They're not at full strength yet, and so we can't exactly... hold on. So we can't exactly train them up to a good level of experience, which I would like to do with these green guys, the Shensi Jintua. Okay, so the Guomindan launched an offensive. This is something that you should have already seen. There's these events. Let's try, and we've lost. RIP. Which is actually much worse than it would be in the standard game, because our manpower pool is even lower than in the standard game. So again, not exactly the best thing that could have happened. China also has a different level of national focus tree, which is really, really nice. There is a border conflict happening. We have won a victory. Great. That was a lot of political power. So it actually... Well, we're actually losing political power because we only would gain 33 per day. And so since we are actually getting that national focus, it's making us lose 66 per day. Thank God this isn't Kaiserreich, because right now we would be losing quite a lot of stability if it was Kaiserreich, but it isn't, so nice. Getting the recovery from the Long March, so that will give us, as you can see, quite a lot of manpower. Everyone else is also doing their thing across the world. Now, I feel like... Okay, we will go for the anti-Japanese aim and try to get some war goals as quickly as possible against Shanxi. Now, have they been buffed? No, they haven't. So they still only have 2 divisions. And if they only have 2 divisions, they will be easy pickings for our relatively weak but more numerous army. Now, Sibei-sama has actually been, maybe not buffed, but they still have many more divisions than we can take, at least right now. So this will not be easy to take them out. And the Japanese aim will just increase our national unity by 5%. So, you know. Nothing too weird. We will get the approach to front after that, and then try to organize a western expedition after we are done with Sibei, or Shanxi. What's our maximum planning? That's entrenching. That's planning. 40%, and it increases by 1.3% each day because it's... Yeah, we have that underestimate Japan and recovering from the Long March, which actually hasn't been done entirely yet. It just said, oh, it will just be recovered on June, okay? Anti-Japanese aim will take approach the front and at the same time switch our armies over. Oh, something that I've forgotten to do actually is boost my party popularity in the Kuomintang. I can't actually do that because we don't have political power, right? That will take a while to actually fix. Why are there two plans? For some reason there's two plans. Oh, shit. Hold on, okay. Okay, right, hold on. I messed up. There we go. Let's actually improve that a little bit. There we go. And let's use strategic redeployment just to avoid our guys taking attrition, which would piss me off because we have no equipment to spare, god damn it. Are any of you moving? Doesn't look like it. There's the Spanish Civil War. You're taking attrition. Bad you. Don't take attrition. The equipment belongs to the state, god damn it. Okay. I don't like 4 guys, or 4 divisions in just this one little province. Let's send more over. Okay. Perfect, we have recovered from the Long March, which means that our units will now fight just normally. Which, well, considering they have very outdated equipment as well, and very outdated or very bad templates, that's not much to say. In a little bit, we will be able to make our expedition against Shanxi a reality, which will give us some more factories. They're not going for any economy focuses, which is bad. We've gotten to Type 24. Good. We could research mountain infantry. We could also research support weapons, though. Mountain infantry is going to be very, very, very important because of the generic terrain that we have around here. Being just in general mountains. Now, for now, we'll just take the support weapons. Safer, and probably better, just because of all that defense. Good. So we have our war goal. And right now, we will go for... we could purge the rightists. But for now, that will not be very useful. We are not strong enough to take Sibei Sanma yet. Oh, maybe we are though, because we have 2 divisions. The Dongzheng Jun. What kind of divisions are they? Pretty weak. Actually, only 4,000 men. What gave us those? Oh, two divisions designated for this operation will assemble at Yan'an. Well, okay, that makes a lot of sense then. And we will get 3 divisions from this focus, so yes, of course we will take it. And we will just declare war. Now, the reason I'm not too worried about this, even with the weakened state of our army, is because Shanxi is very weak. And if you manually fight the war, then it should be no problem. Soon enough, we will encounter their army, and we'll just skirt around it and take their territory, eventually take the capital, and win the war with relatively few casualties. Except, you know, attrition, which is obviously bad. Let's actually send one of you over. And take this. There's some of their army, the Chahar Jinbei. And Taiyuan is pretty much empty, which is obviously great just because they're only VP. So we will be able to easily capitulate them. There's the rest of their army, Suiyan Jinbei, and they're just up there. They're not doing much. We will not attack them because that would be pretty expensive in terms of losses. And finally, we will take the capital. Our units obviously not being the fastest. Took a while to get there. But that should mean the capitulation. No. Okay. They're very close to capitulating anyway. So we'll just take more territory. There it is. And we'll be able to just take the states. Unfortunately, it doesn't turn blue anymore, which really, really pisses me off. Send to turn. Pass, 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 so we have enough points. And a turn. We take both states. And there they are. That will actually seize us some equipment, which will partially pay back some of the losses that we have encountered. And now we have also a lot of manpower, because we took over the much more populous Shanxi state, which is our core. Obviously, Shanxi over here only has 8 million. Over here, there's 11 additional million and 2 additional million in Suiyan. So, gonna be fairly good for us. And now we will be ready for our western expansion. I would like it if... okay. And I will manually send everyone with strategic redeployment to avoid all the negative attrition that they would otherwise accrue in these pretty much shitty terrains. Which will actually be fairly important because every little piece of equipment kind of matters. Good. Seems like everyone is on strategic redeployment. And we do have some insufficient resources, just some steel. For now, we will keep our civilian factories. In fact, we can construct more. I will construct a civilian factory, actually, in Shanxi. That is because we need it for that trade. If we get more military factories than we can trade resources for with civilian factories, it will not be very, very useful for us at all to have military factories. So that's why we're doing that. And I would like you to be not there. I'd like you to be there. You're going to be much more useful there. Perfect. We should be starting to get some divisions around there. We still have a lot of problems with infantry equipment. And we also gained another template, which is bad. So let's delete that template, because nobody's using it. With research, we're still coming up very slowly. We have gotten our Western expedition, finally. We can already get supplies from the Soviets. I wonder how good they will be. That is because we are bordering Mongolia, which is a Soviet puppet. We'll take that, because that might give us some divisions. Perhaps equipped with decent actual weapons. No, 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 absolutely not. No fucking way you're going there. Okay, so these Shitsung Jun. Oh, well, obviously, the Dongsun Jun are the eastern expedition, and the Shitsung Jun is the western expedition, obviously. Excuse my stupidity. Xi just means west in Chinese. That's why it dawned on me. And then you guys are just gonna go, I guess, over there. We'll declare war right away. They aren't guaranteed by anyone, so we can just do that. And not have to worry about anything. What focus is revive the new life movement? Oh, they've prioritized internal stability. That's not very good. Because they might go with anti-communist construction and strike at the communist bandits. Bandits? We're not bandits. You're bandits. And if they do that, then we're gonna basically be at war with them, which is not good considering the amount of divisions that they have. So right now, because we have this northern flank that we can just use, where they don't really have any troops, it will be fairly easy for us to get. Why are you going there, though? I don't like you there. We have already surrounded a cavalry division, and some of their cavalry is fighting us, but in the mountains, with this low level of attack, not gonna happen. Absolutely not gonna happen. Now, our sorry state right now, in terms of our actual army and research, is kind of shared by all the Chinese miners. So right now we don't really why would you go there though? Just stay there, please. Just stay there. We are about to actually surround 2 more of their cavalry divisions. Great. That should be most of their army, actually. And then we'll just go down and try to take Tianxue, because that will allow us to gain another VP. And up here, I want you across the river. We're also going to take Lanzhou and try to move west to Golmud, which is the capital. The West Expedition. The unbearable progress of the West Expedition had Mao think for a truce to put a stop to this profitless expedition. We just have to wait. I actually didn't know about that. That's pretty good that we have events for that. This war might take a while. Because of our slow unit speed, because of many different reasons. It will just take a while. Let's do our first attack in pretty much the entire playthrough. We finally have enough force in one place to actually attack. That says a lot about our state. And over here, these guys are almost screwed. So let's also attack them. Just in case more events to give us a kind of war exhaustion almost come up. We just want to be prepared for that. Corner no more. The Red Army once survived in a state of what seemed to be like hopelessness, but since the long march several years back, actually like 4 years back, that's not a lot, the tide has slowly turned. With significant territory advances, our role as an underdog is a thing of the past. Having fought through this time of struggle, our desperation is now behind us. Mao Zedong has gone from a guerrilla army leader to a chairman. So we lose the Corner Fox, which is actually bad, because Corner Fox is a really good trait. But, oh well. And, ooh, thanks. So their cavalry is actually being not very smart, and has gotten themselves cornered. We'll also take out this guy, who is almost defeated anyway. We are going to take Lanzhou because they have abandoned it, it seems. We have also taken some more territory up here in the northern desert. We'll grab half of you, and half of you will go there. We'll surround this infantry division. And this guy, I believe there's no more reserves for the enemy, so he'll just march. He'll just march onward to Golmud. And I don't want you guys going there, I want you guys going there. Then you will continue to get up there. Nationalists offer a truce. We'll take a truce. That was the Siena Incident. You should already know about that, but just as a history lesson, I guess, the Siena Incident happened when essentially there was a sort of an almost coup in nationalist China, where a general arrested this guy, Chiang Kai-shek, and this guy is the leader of China, and he arrested him and offered to release him only on condition that he make a truce with the communists over here in Shanxi. Essentially, he wanted to cooperate against Japan with the communist army, the Red Army, instead of continuing to fight the Red Army, as was Chiang Kai-shek's sort of aim, because obviously he saw them, or us, I should say, as a threat to the stability of the state, which he was correct about, because after the war ended, the communists took over China in the Second Civil War. So a rare occasion in which a dick was actually kind of right about things in history. Of course, many argue that the cooperation between the two sides is kind of the reason why China kind of continued to exist as a country and then just fully capitulate to the Japanese aggression. Now, we'll take the expanding of the Taiyuan arsenal. No, actually, no, we will not. We'll take boosted morale. And supplies from Soviets. I wonder what that will do. There's supplies from the Soviet Union. Okay. With the route open for Soviet supplies, the equipment and volunteers have arrived at Yan'an and await Mao Zedong's inspection. So we've gotten 1,000 guns, 250 tanks, and 2,500 rifles. Excellent. Now, doesn't look like we've actually received those rifles. Sulianji Huan, Soviet volunteer troop? Oh, that's why. Because the rifles were used to actually equip the Soviet volunteers, and the tanks, only 60 of them were used to equip the volunteers. Great. Okay, perfect. So we actually have quite a lot of artillery and quite a lot of light tanks now. That's really nice. That's really, really nice. We don't need to use them in the war against Shibei-sama, because Shibei-sama is pretty weak. And I don't want to send those very valuable pieces of equipment over onto the sort of very, very mountainous terrain over here and get them lost. I just want to conserve them for the Japanese fight. Now, okay, perfect. So we have managed to secure all of the territory that we needed. Fuck my entire existence! Oh shit! Oh shit, I'm actually stupid. Oh god, let's load the autosave. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. Holy shit. I am such a nice guy sometimes. I actually took and ended the turn. Of course I did. I mean, okay. That's why I sometimes hate the peace conferences. You can just mess up. Okay, so let's wait a day. And we have everything. Perfect. Okay, now we are a little bit more under control. And right now, we are approaching the time limit for the episode. Let's just set up the way we will fight Japan. Looks like he is going for the anti-communist. Okay, so we might have to fight the nationalist government first before that. Not exactly the best thing I was expecting to do. Now, to fight the nationalist government, we will need a very, very, very good plan. Because that is a lot of territory that we need to defend. Now, over here in Qinghai and Ningxia states, there's not much. And also in Gansu, there's not much at all. So I feel like we can just kind of leave those to the nationalists. If they invade us, they can keep those. Let's edit that front line. Now let's just stick to an area that we can defend over here. So essentially Shaanxi and Shanxi states. Yeah, okay. We will actually want to get them on a strategic redeployment because, yeah. And we hope that they actually don't take the fight the war with us national focus, because, or at least that they don't take it before the Japanese take the Marco Polo Bridge incident, because if that happens, then we're screwed. We're screwed not just because of all that would be happening with the nationalists, but also because when Japan comes in, the nationalists will be weaker. Just trying to reorganize. Hold on. Sorry for that. Okay. And everyone's on strategic redeployment. Good. Now, in this very small, narrow sector, we should be able to actually pretty easily beat the nationalist troops. But the problem is our big exposed flank. But as I said already, it is an exposed flank that is kind of easy to defend just by not defending it, because it's so big that they will take forever to actually cross around. Now, we do actually have a bit of a surplus thanks to those Soviet supplies, especially in terms of the light tank. Unfortunately, the light tank division actually has infantry in it. Now, what I would like to actually do... Is this guy? Yeah. That is very unfortunate. What I would actually really like to do is get cavalry instead of infantry. But that will take quite a lot of army experience to replace. Do we have anything that will actually give us army experience? Army reform will only give us 10, but it will give us some. Prepare for war, obviously. Obviously prepare for war. Right, so... Considering also the state of our research, I'll just... Yeah, see, because I would like to get land doctrines as quickly as possible. So, I will... okay. Next up, after this, I will research a land doctrine. And then get some actual land doctrine bonuses to later actually help us researching that land doctrine, because it will be our main tool with which we will resist the Japanese having superior land doctrines to them. Because the AI does not exactly prioritize land doctrines, and it's actually really bad for them, but oh well. So yeah, I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this first part of Communist China. Hope you will come and see more of it once I actually kind of resolve a few things. Right now, I will see you then.